trying to think of a way to describe this. It's going to be a little bit of a new experience, I think, for those of you who haven't managed to see it, because you haven't seen it all season. It's the first time that we're going on to it. Because of the fact that it's so small, obviously nades are going to be incredibly important because of the fact that you could potentially pick up multiple players with a single grenade. So positionings of that, and you were talking about this before about how Globochem was so strong on them the last time they played on it. So these could all be factors which lead into 1-2 taking control. Also, the rounds in general just play out far quicker because of how small it is and because of how many more mistakes can be made due to that lack of territory to play with. But here we go. It's the G-Men on the attack, Globochem on the defense for the first round of this battle.
Yeah, and right away we see there Otto putting down some heavy suppressive fire from his LMG. He's trying to prevent the cross from the G-Men in order to be able to use that lane over in the west side. But fortunately, or I'm sorry, on the east side is where Otto was. Fortunately, though, unfortunately for him, the G-Men do manage to get one across, and they will have him be able to come in for the attack. But overall, looking at the overhead map, it's looking like Globochem have a very solid defense. They pretty much completely surrounded the objective on 4 corners, and then they've got one guy directly on top of it, which looks to be Thunder Pilot. Fun fact, Otto and Thunder Pilot that you see on screen there are in fact brothers.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Like the Woods brothers.
Yeah, I was about to mention, I thought we only had the Woods brothers, but...
And also, the Globochem brothers, Otto and Thunder, do have a sister who now plays in VR League as well on the team 60%, which is a majority female team that came out from the Onward VR Master League. So, interesting facts there. Got all kinds of family affairs going on here in Onward nowadays.
Yeah, definitely. It's cool to see. We get that in a couple other games, too. It's always fun to talk about how that could potentially change the team's dynamic up.
Sure.
Like that.
Absolutely.
We've got Globochem who have G-Men who have kind of stalled out a little bit here now after reaching that midpoint. This is oftentimes where we see teams stall out on the attacking side once they reach that primary middle building, trying to get past the next series of tankers that are, or the next series of cargo crates that are set up. Usually tends to be where a lot of attacking players will fall. So obviously they're going to be a lot more careful about how they try to push this angle.
Yeah, the G-Men know that Globochem are going to be in positions to take them out if they're not careful with how they exit this next stage of the map. So we're going to see Brastamouth push up in the center. He's going to check that spot behind this very small container that you won't be able to see at the moment. But he's checking a very popular position for a defender to be in. He doesn't see it, and so he moves on. Now we're seeing some smoke from the G-Men now. They're going to be coming out in order to try and push and block out those lines of sight. A frag will drop out from 404, I believe that was on the east. It will not find anyone.
Here's the push, though. Everyone from G-Men committing. We're going to have a lot of close quarters downs happening here. Otto
close.
Able to pick off Zach Fontaine, but 404 gets the trade onto that along with the immediate kill confirmation. Down to a 4v4 with 2.5 minutes left. It's all going to come down to the wire here now, though, as G-Men is fully committed to this. Toast, Raphael, both picking up frags back-to-back, leaving G-Men with only one player up, but not for long as Raphael takes him out too. Globochem holds on to their defense and wins round number 1.
Wow, that was a great map, or great round there. I mean, while it did take a while for them to set up, when G-Men went to execute, things just started happening so fast. I mean, that frag from Otto to kick it off, taking down the defender with a quick refrag, and then, you know, wow, I mean, good thing you were Shouket, because I wouldn't have been able to get in there with all the stuff that was going on.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, this is how this map tends to play out. A lot of very explosive rounds. Maybe not that explosive on every single round. Obviously, that was a little bit crazy how we saw, like, it was like 8 or 9 players died in the series of, like, maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So, a little crazy there. Obviously, things are a bit more detached in your general round that you see playing out here on Cargo, but we'll see if that remains the pace going into the second round and, of course, the following rounds after that, or if we'll see things slow down a little bit as we generally come to expect. Maybe at least a few more picks happening in the kind of early round, but we didn't get any of that this time. All 10 stayed alive up until they execute, and then it just, every man for himself, basically, once the execute began.
And then everyone just starts dying. I don't know what happened. It's just, but no, you're right. But again, we talked about it a little bit ago when we were casting Mob Squad and G-Men, but this map can lend to good aggression. If you're able to use aggression and just kind of charge, we've seen teams charge right up the middle with a bunch of smoke utility, get right on top of the objective and cap in like 15 seconds on this map. So it's definitely something that can reward the aggression, but we probably won't see too much of that with as much as on the line tonight as we do usually.
Got a lot of fire coming out early on again. Obviously, these players are going to try to get some lucky picks if they manage to catch someone getting over-aggressive. Which, speaking of aggression, we've got the man who's moved very far up inside of the central building. And is going to try to see if he can surprise anyone. More than likely, Globochem have realized that he's inside of there, or at least have an intuition that someone's going inside of there.
Oh yeah, I think at about any top tier, or even, I mean, to be honest, about any team will realize that there should be a defender in these buildings. It's a pretty common defensive spot. A nice nade placed right on the doorpost. but G-Man will, or the man will be able to back away from that and keep himself alive. But yeah, playing aggressive on defense and playing up to those center buildings can really be beneficial. We've seen it work out a lot of times prior where they're able to just really just shut things down because the offense wasn't ready for someone to be that far forward, right? And it's very dark in there, so those Volk uniforms, those black uniforms, very easy to hide in.
It's very easy to just tuck yourself into a corner. Even try to get intel off this, too.
If you want me to check, just tell me to go now.
As you can hear, obviously, we hear the players, too, and that's not a mistake. It is open voice comms in this game. If you're just joining us, you might be new to Onward, and that spreads across both teams.
That's right.
So the man probably heard at least a little bit of what was being communicated right there and is able to, if he gets a second here, might be able to relay that back to his teammates. I'm going to stay quiet for now, though, as Globochem try to shift themselves over here to the west side of the map instead and push up one of the side cargo units. It's Raphael leading the charge, of course, with the shield.
Yeah, he's more than likely going to be backed up by either Thunder Pilot or Arsenic. That's usually who they run their rifle plays with on support. And I didn't catch it as he came out, but a frag to come out from him. It's not going to pick anyone up, though, it seems. A nice frag placed right at the door, but it'll be just a bit too far. Rafa able to back away, not taken down there. But the defense is keying in, and they are trying to pressure that door, keep Raf back and away. But now Thunder Pilot's there, and he's going to find a nice headshot onto Zach Fontaine. Brastamouth is ready and waiting in the wings, but he's not going to be able to convert anything yet. He hears Toast, but he does. Wait.
They trade each other.
Oh, no, Otto took down Brastamouth. I was like, wait a second.
Here comes the man, though, finally jumping out from the central building, but he's only able to get one, immediately traded up by Otto a moment later, who's seemingly the trade king on this round for his team, really keeping them in it. Unfortunately, not in it enough. They're still down by one man against Globochem, who have 3 standing at this point. And the 2 remaining players for the defense on G-Men are incredibly split up. So if one of them goes down without a cause for a trade, that might mean the end of the round, or at very minimum, someone from the G-Men being put into a 1vx, and a very difficult one at that. So as a result of this, it's looking like Swooty's going to back up a little bit, maybe trying to regroup a little more with 404s, that they can try to play off of each other. Swooty ends up with a pretty good angle, try to get some damage off one of the 2 players pushing from the right side of the map here, but no, not significant enough damage to down anyone, unfortunately, so he does end up backing up to the same position he was holding before.
Yeah, Swooty doesn't want to put too much time out there. Oh, and a grenade from Raphael as we tear away does take down Swooty. He's downed, he's not dead, so he will still be able to provide those callouts if he sees a push coming and let 404 know. But now 404 is going to have to worry about the 2-pronged push. We got Otto setting up in the east, Thunder and Raph setting up in the west, and they're on the push now.
He's going to try to play off this smoke, but that may not work out too well as they've already pushed themselves forward and maybe getting closer and closer to being able to send the uplink code here as well, which could just end the game outright. He's got to be aware of this. He's going to have to try and push himself forward. Moves in. Hasn't been able to detect anyone close enough yet, and you can see sweeping the area to make sure no one has gone for an attempt to try and send the code. Gets very close up to Raphael. Using the smoke in the process. Doesn't have the confidence to go for the kill, though. So ultimately backs up right into Otto. Raphael finishes things off. Not that it was really needed. And Globochem take control of round number 2, putting them only 1 away from closing out the first map.
Yeah, that's right. And while I thought that push from 404 was a bit extreme, he is the last man alive. And as last man alive, you always want to be preventing the cap above all else, right? Like, I know when I was playing for the Danglers back a few seasons ago now, you know, if I was ever the last man alive, you'd see me running around like that frantically.
Yeah, because ultimately, right, you'd much rather kind of fall on the sword than give your opponents the extra point.
Exactly. So being risky and jumping out in the open and just, you know, waving your arms around like, hey, I'm over here, shoot me, you know. It's actually a viable strategy when you're on defense and you're trying to keep the enemy team from capping, because if we would have seen a cap or an uplink there, that would have been 2 points for Globochem. That would have completely shut down this first map, and we'd be moving on to map 2. And
for anyone sitting there wondering, well, why doesn't he just kill himself? Well, you can't do that, because that immediately gives 2 points to the attacking team.
Correct.
So they thought about that. And that's why you don't see the last player alive just shoot himself in the head, which you can do that, but yeah, it would give the other team the extra point right off the bat.
Yeah, suicide very much discouraged in this game.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, here we go. Round number 3, potentially the last round of this map. Like we said before, this is a qualification match. The winner of this one is going to land. So we've bumped it up to a best of 3. Meaning the Globochem is not out of hot water just yet. If they take the victory here, they're going to have to move over to Quarantine next and also win there if they want the clean 2-0. Firefight will begin. Obviously, a lot of bullets coming out from both sides here to try and see if they can get lucky on an early kill. Neither team, once again, coming out on top with that, though all 10 still standing tall.
Yeah, the pre-fire on these east and west lanes here, the long sight lines that you have, you'll typically see your teams nowadays, especially if they have any LMG gunners on their squad, putting early suppressive fire on those lanes, because again, you don't want to be able to let the teams who spawn in the center of the map, either north or south, to kind of split out and really get a nice spread to be able to find those angles and those refrags. So it's a good play, and I think we see just about every team getting it, and a nice airstrike called in on Toast from the man. No confirmation on that, and Pants will be able to revive.
The timing on the nade, though, like you said, it got that kind of airburst effect working its way down. Toast is able to find impact, though, after rezzing his own teammate. Pants manages to pick one up, too. But G-Man and Swooty, along with Zach Fontaine, who accidentally knocks out Swooty, are going to be able to find some impact. And off of that, Auto takes down Swooty. Another one for Thunder Pilot as this push here for the G-Men, again, starts to fall apart as they rush, try to force the issue. And it's left only the man alive here now in a 1v3 situation. He's calmed it down. He's stopped in the central building. The problem is he is stuck here now. Just look at all the open territory in front of him. He can't really afford, he can kind of now because his opponents are playing pretty passively.
Yeah.
But in general, he's not going to be confident enough to be able to push out into such an open area like this. So he's stuck now. And the only luxury that's been sent his way is the fact there's still 3.5 minutes left in the round.
Yeah, that time is definitely going to be beneficial to him, because with that amount of time on a map so small like Cargo, you've got enough time to continuously just kind of prod at the defense, right? And take your shots and then relocate, right? You don't want to stay in the same spot. Absolutely not, because this game does have, you know, omnidirectional sound, right? So if you hear something off your left side, that's where it is. It's on your left. So if he shoots even one round, the team is going to know, and then they might actually get aggressive. But since it's a 1v3, I'm going to say Globochem might only send one out for a flank, because they don't want to take the risk of having that last guy being too far off the objective if the man is able to pull off some sort of miracle here.
Well, the man has moved over to the far east side of the map now. It looks like he's going to try to start a flank off from here. He's got good sight lines onto the majority of the back lane here too, where the defenders are hiding out right now by taking this angle. So if he gets into a fight, more than likely it's going to be Auto first. But as you can see, he is slowly being pinched on by more than him. Raphael also sitting behind the tunnel that he might try to use to get close enough to the uplink.
Oh yeah, he's stalking him. Here comes Raphael, the Ninja Turtle.
And
the shots.
There he goes. Easy headshot for Raphael, takes him out, and that's a 3-0 for Globochem to take fast control of Cargo here on map number 1. And so with that, they're only one more map away from the qualifying point that they need to take them into the VRL finals.
Yeah, that's right. And if I do remember correctly, this will be their map choice going into the second map. So this could be it for G-Men. At least for this upper bracket, they will still have a shot to work their way back up through the lower bracket. But it would be much better if they can at least take it to 3 and make it as competitive as possible to make sure that they are really showing their stuff. But yeah, there we just saw an absolute Globochem. I don't really want to call it a slaughter, because G-Men played it very well, but again, we ended up with a 3-0 scoreline, and then of course when you see a replay like that one where we see, you know, 8-9 people dying in a matter of 30 seconds,
yeah.
it does kind of feel that way. But
I mean, ultimately, right? Look at it like Globochem just got the edge at the beginning of all 3 rounds they played out here. They picked up, you know, for the most part, 2-3 kills, or at minimum, even if they lost a few players due to trades, and you can see this here on the replays too, they would always have at least a +1 man advantage coming out of those situations. So while the wins on the gunfights weren't as dominant as what we were seeing from G-Men in the last matchup, where they were just winning every single fight and had like a solid 2-3 man advantage coming out of it, it was still enough. They still had like overall better control of the map, they still had better positioning, and overall they would take better duels when it came down to the clutches towards the end of the round. We were in those like 2v2s or 3v2s or those like slightly less in man situations.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that the targeting ability of the Globochem roster is definitely higher than that of Mob Squad, right? Because instead of seeing those decisive wins like you talked about, we saw a lot more trades this time around, right? We saw almost every kill in that round was a trade of some sort. It was either a trade or it was a refrag, you know? So yeah, I mean, obviously the targeting precision of both teams a little bit better matched here in the second matchup.
And I think hopefully going on to the second matchup, there should be a little bit more time, first of all, and room, more importantly, for G-Men to respond to these sorts of situations. We're not going to be anywhere close to as claustrophobic of a map now that we're going to be moving over here to quarantine. So hopefully a lot more room and, like I said, timing for G-Men to try and respond to some of these situations. Hopefully come out with better positioning at the end of these like crazy team fights, which we probably won't even get that many more team fights. It's probably going to be a lot more isolated fights moving on to quarantine, with the exception of the executes, of course.
Yeah. I think that's a fair call to make. You know, Globochem never does anything solo. I will say that. They are always in position, or will make themselves be in position for a refrag opportunity if a team member is, you know, taking fire. And instead of that person taking fire, re-engaging and having a firefight, which they could either possibly lose or trade and thereby make someone have to come for them, revive them, use utility. Instead, they call out the position of the player to allow for another one of their teammates to position themselves elsewhere that maybe has a better advantage and be able to take out that player without the person who's being pressured having to put any risk out there. So they've really thought about this.
All right, guys, well, let's see if Globochem can piece things together and take a quick 2-0 themselves to qualify with relative ease, or if we're going to see the response come in from G-Men on this map. It is live, ladies and gentlemen, so let's head in-game as we are going to be on quarantine now for map number 2. Heading back to the same map that G-Men just played on about
That's right.
20 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's right. And we will see a pretty difficult to defend objective here on the front side. We're going to see the Eastern Tank objective. It's a very open objective. It does not allow very good coverage for caps, but this North control, as we talked about in their game versus Mob Squad, is very important. We've got Pants up on the roof there. He's going to be able to give overwatch for his team as they push down from the southern part of the map. And he's also got backup from 2 men behind him on the north near the 18-wheeler.
There's a big pinch that could be built up against Brass to Mouth and the man right now. You can see that Brass to Mouth is trying to work his way out of it. He had seen Pants well in advance, but it doesn't matter. Pants picks up the opening frag, and now you just got the man pinched in between Pants and his other teammate far up to the north right now. And Nate attempts to go out against the man. It's not going to work. The man went loud there on his footsteps for a second, so Pants more than likely would have heard that and knows he's got yet another player in this position just below him.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. That smoke, the noise from the smoke grenades actually does put out quite a bit of noise, so if you time it right with the smokes, you might be able to get up on him. But that frag that came out from the north red roof is going to give him advantage, or so I thought, on Arsenic. As he crests the hill, he and the man both trade headshots, so immediate trades. No chance of rezzing either of those, and we're sitting at a nice 3v3 here on the map.
So even trades at the end of the day after Globochem managed to lose a second player elsewhere on the map. And that is going to leave us down with actually a pretty isolated 2 teams right now. G-Men split up pretty aggressively on their defense, one down to the far south, trying to watch for pushes through the southern street, another one up to the north, trying to watch for pushes through that central street. The attacking side of things also probably just as split up right now, as you've got one player within close proximity to the uplink, another one trying to rotate to the north to group up with our other player, who also holds the extreme northern flank and the AC building.
Well, Swooty's better be careful here. Oh, he's thankfully blocked from Thunder Pilot's point of view from that with that fire from the burning building, but Swooty's a tall gentleman, so Thunder Pilot definitely going to see this, and he does. He takes down Swooty by the South Ambulance Rock, and now it's just Thunder Pilot, and I believe that was Otto that's now rotated up in the north. Wait, no, there's 3 of them still. Yeah, there's Pants on the rooftop, and I believe Otto will be the last one, if not Toast. Then Zach Fontaine on the defense, sitting close in. He's watching the objective. He's going to make sure that Globochem don't try and sneak in from the north and get that cap. But this is another one of those objectives where if they do come in from across that north street, they can actually cap this objective from the outside of that wall, which he would not be able to see. So hopefully his other defender there by the motel will be able to see that instead.
All right, well, besides that, not a whole lot coming out on top just yet. Globochem are once again trying to play it slowly and for good reason on that, and it keeps working for them. The MK18 on Pants is able to take out 404, leaving only 1 man alive for the G-Men, and that's not going to stay that way for long. Zach Fontaine goes down with relative ease as well. Globochem, again, coming out on top at the end of the round. Relatively even at the beginning of the round, like same thing that we had on map number 1. When we get down to the clutch in the 3v3, it's very one-sided for Globochem.
Yeah, it really was, and Pants was just on fire there for Globochem. He picked up 3 frags on that round, including the game winner, or the round winner, I should say. And yeah, I mean, you typically don't see offense take that much control after such a short period of the map. I mean, we did see, like you said, a lot of back and forths, a lot of even trades right off the bat, but then you were absolutely right. As the setup went on, as the execution happened, it just, once again, Globochem just being able to hold it together while G-Men begin to kind of come unraveled a bit.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just because they were like too split up in their attack and there wasn't really room for trades. Like that was what I was talking about before. Because we have the bigger map, trades aren't as easy to pull off.
Right.
Or they just kind of had a lapse of communication and ended up going into an ill-rehearsed execute or something like that. Either way, something went wrong when they finally got to the execute in the 3v3. And like I said before, it turned into a very one-sided affair. Round 2 is now getting started, folks. Let's head back in-game and see if Globochem can keep this train rolling. A perfect 6-0 might be in the books for them if things continue to go the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, Globochem definitely looking to solidify their spot early on. They don't want to have to worry about having to play through the lower brackets, that's for sure. And we'll just have to see what kind of defense. I mean, on this map, I think more so than some others, your defensive adaptability and staying very fluid is very important. Now, Swooty taking those shots as he pushes the south is very risky because he was just out in the open, and while he's got his gun up like that, he's not able to sprint. Toast is going to find 404 thanks to the shots ringing out, displaying the south spawn, and some smokes are going to get a bad bounce off the road sign, and Rastamouth will just get taken out anyways.
Toast finds his second frag, but Zach Fontaine finally picks up a trade, catches Thunder Pilot. You can see Zach Fontaine's approaching the danger zone, though, where he lost 2 of his team. No, it's 3 down there now. They're just feeding kills to Toast as he gets his third in the same exact spot. Oh, look at this angle that he's had the entire time. Just a tiny little peek that he can do from the mid-side of the tank. And it's completely destroyed the G-Men push.
Now, this is one of those angles that I actually can't take because I'm just too short.
Really?
Yeah.
So it works out that way. Like, height actually matters in this.
Yeah, height can definitely provide an advantage or a disadvantage even in some cases, you know. A bigger target is easier to shoot, right? So that's what I always was thankful for in my playtime was like, I'm a short guy, right? So I'm a small player model to have to aim at.
So if you're really pro at Onward, basically, the counter to this is just, oh my god, he got a 4th. He's about to get an ace if he can find this last kill. Let's see how close he is.
Well, he's definitely got the opportunity. That last guy is down south, and Toast pretty much on a push here.
He's just going to go. He might as well at this point.
I mean, they've got 4 up. They definitely have it. And
oh, Arsenic. How dare you?
How dare you take that ace away from Toast, Arsenic?
Well, either way, not a whole lot to discuss there. G-Men try to go for a fast play or some fast control in the beginning of the round, and they just get torn to absolute shreds by Toast in that tank angle.
It was
and
tough to
that's
watch.
the end of it, basically.
Yeah, that was pretty tough to watch. I mean, Swooty, I don't know. I kind of want to blame that all on Swooty. And as much as I love the guy, like those early shots that he took trying to push across the road really gave away their team spawn, and then Toast, like we saw, was just ready to tear into them.
But yeah, overall, ending up working out great here for Globochem. Still a 2-0 lead. They're coming up on attack for this next round. So if they can win this once again, we are going to move uplink way up to the north, actually, now. So it'll be a bit of an different attacking route for these guys. But still, Globochem comes on top. That's it. It's a 6-0, 2-0 map series for them. And they will qualify with relative ease, not dropping a single round on their way through the final bracket.
Dropping a single point.
Yeah, exactly.
That's impressive. I mean, not to be expected of Globochem, however. I mean, they have been #1 in the NA for a long time, and I don't see that changing really anytime soon. Some teams are definitely starting to kind of measure up more and more as seasons go, but right now they're still definitely the commanding leaders of North America.
All right, well, let's see if Globochem can do it. Team's going to be let out of the spawn box in just a second here, and away they go. Like we said, far north uplink spawn here now. So the attackers will have to try and do a little bit of scouting work first here. Just to oh!
Wow.
What?
Why?
What a snipe! Look at how far away those shots are. I don't even think any of them had enhanced scopes at all. They had like
all 1x.
They had like hollows.
Yep. Yeah, you actually don't see a lot of the magnified scopes much. You'll probably see more of it if we get to see Downfall.
Yeah.
But you really don't see it too much on these maps anymore.
I think Downfall is the only map where any type of like DMR or bolt action rifle is like viable.
Yeah.
Because there's that like one tower way to the north where you can kind of use it pretty aggressively to be able to spot people out. And we saw the only time I've only seen one bolt rifle kill the entire time I've been casting this game. It was on this map, actually. It wasn't even on Downfall. But it wasn't even like long range. It was like almost point blank against someone, and they just caught someone and got a shot off real quick. But yeah, overall, like Sniper is just not super viable on any maps outside of Downfall. If anything, you'll just see like a rifle, like a regular rifle with an enhanced scope on it or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're really to think about it and to kind of compare it to actual military tactics, you're not going to be seeing a lot of 12x scopes just riding around on top of, you know, carbines and other things, right? So if anything, you're going to see the 4x, the ACOGs, those types of scopes, the red dots, the reflex sights, those types of things are going to be common throughout most of your infantry divisions and squads and things in various military countries, and so it's really not surprising that we don't see a lot of sniper play, but I would love to see some more. And you know, Arsenic there, when he played for Mob Squad a few seasons back, he was probably the deadliest sniper I've ever. He is our American sniper, basically.
Well, we already had him do some work in the early round. We're going to see if he can build upon that now, as the team has made a massive amount of progress after that snipe at the beginning of the round. I mean, G-Men just went back into a shell. They're not playing out aggressively at all. They're not trying to vie for any type of map control. They're playing around that skeleton building back at the bottom left part of the area that these teams are fighting for right now. Then you've got one player way up to the northwest of the uplink, and besides that, only one directly on top of it. So they're all trying to play pretty far back and just defend the uplink and take it to the timer if the time allows it.
Yeah, I'm actually very, very impressed with how well Globochem has been able to execute and set up, and they still have 2.5 minutes left to be able to pull this execution. So we're going to see them probably wait a minute or so, probably about 30 seconds to try and determine where any or all of the defenders are in order to try and plan this push. But we do have the smokes coming out from off the top ridge line. Zach Fontaine's going to put some shots out towards Pants, I believe, as he crosses. Yeah, Pants will find 404. Zach Fontaine will get a refrag onto Arsenic. And now it's Thunder Pilot picking up Brass the Mouth in a trade. Brass will also down Thunder. And now it's just 2 members plus 1 downed member of Globochem. Make that 1 down member and 1 regular member for Globochem as G-Men fight to hold on to this map in the last possible round.
The last member of Globochem did just peek over the hill for a second, so Zach Fontaine might have been able to get the intel. Don't hear him talking, though, so I don't know if he gave that info over to his other teammate, who's actually pretty far detached, but it's not going to matter. The timing works out perfectly for the man to move in, take out Pants, and why not finish off Thunder Pilot along the way, too. So the G-Men do finally strike down at least 1 point over here from Globochem, but they still have a lot more work to do to bring this back. 1 more round to tie it, 1 more round to actually win the map and take us to a 3rd and final one on Downfall. They could, however, do it all in this next round, too, if they're able to get the uplink cap.
That's very true. So we could see our first map upset here, and, you know, they've already poked them a little bit, right? They're starting to bleed, so maybe they can capitalize on that. Maybe they've shut down that momentum, but, you know, Globochem is definitely one of those teams that does not tilt very easily, so even if they do lose a round here or there, it doesn't really affect their gameplay typically.
First round, they've lost the entire tournament so far here, and it was like due to a very passive setup from a team, so I don't think there's any reason to be mad about that. I mean, ultimately, they just need to hit shots better because their opponents didn't really pull anything on. They didn't really try to play too aggressively. They just held back, decided to play into a defensive position, and then won their fights.
Yeah, I mean, the most aggressive push we saw there from G-Men was the man as he rotated out at the end to go for the flank onto the approaching attacker. So, yeah, not a whole lot of defense, and you will see that quite often when teams are kind of on that razor's edge of being knocked out or staying safe, right? They'll play that very tight box defense on the objective. Because if anything, it's like they've got to come to us, right? So if we can be set up with nice defensible positions, we should have the advantage and be able to take the round. However, against a team like Globochem, who can pull off some pretty incredible shots like we saw at the beginning of that last round, you just never know.
Especially
be too safe.
Especially at that uplink, because it seems that's actually one of the first times I think I've ever seen it go to that uplink before in the far north, and it seems like it's pretty like self-isolated. Like there isn't a whole lot of room, obviously besides what we saw at the beginning, to kind of like snipe people out from pretty far away or anything like that. So it doesn't seem like there's any positions that are super far away that you can take a massive advantage against the defenders by getting map control elsewhere. It seems like you do need to put everything into your execute itself and have to hope it goes well there if teams play that passively.
Yeah, and another thing about that objective is it's very open.
Yeah.
Look at all that open space that's in there. I mean, yes, there are a few bits of cover here and there to bound between, but unlike a lot of the other objectives on this map, this one is very, very exposed.
You can see it. A decent amount of room for the defenders to play off. As you can see, they've got this turned over truck. They've got that skeleton building that not this one, the one by the defenders on the other side. To be fair, it's probably the same model. But they've got that skeleton building sitting on the other side that they can kind of hide in and peer around the stairs to play with as well. But for the attackers, you've got, as we're going to see Pants strike first again here, a nice long-range headshot against 404. They just can't stop, man. G-Men. They might as well play 4v5 at this point.
They might as well play 1v5 at this point. Pants has got a backpack on today, and he is, well, to be fair, Pants is probably their top fragger. I wouldn't say hands down, but he's definitely one of their top. Him and Toast always pulling off some very impressive kills, and Arsenic also a great, I mean, you really just can't fault any single player on Globochem. They've just found the cream of the crop at this point. The team is set, and they play so often. It's legitimately like they're all brothers now.
Yeah, and they've even decided to play slightly more aggressive than their opponents. Not too much for the most part. They're still all sitting behind that massive sand dune, which blocks off the uplink. But it's Otto who's pushed forward on top of the AC building right now. That's going to try to provide advanced intel, and of course see if he can at least get another 1-for-1 trade when the actual push comes in here from G-Men in the next 2 minutes or so.
And you can tell Zach Fontaine, and we might be seeing a drop here from Zach.
Yeah, he's contorted himself.
Yeah, I think. Oh no, he's back. Okay, good.
I think.
Sometimes when you see that happen, you're about to watch a player drop out of the map, which is very unfortunate. But no, it looks like Zach's done his homework here on Globochem because, oh, that did land on the roof. I couldn't tell from the grenade line, but yes, a grenade from Brass the Mouth does down Otto, who Zach Fontaine was waiting for a peek, but Otto was very disciplined in not exposing himself to that angle.
And unfortunately, because Otto dies in that very hard corner right there, he's probably not going to be able to get out a whole lot of info. Pants again with the aggressive push, though. See a Zach as another long-range kill is picked up by Pants.
Yeah, this guy's ability to target and shoot so fast it's insane. I really want to know how he manages to get that good. Like, it's almost like the very first shot he pulls on you is always the headshot.
Yep. And it seems like he's been able to have pretty good success with that over the course of the series, too. And just, I mean, and like you said, it's just so quick how he's able to lock on target. Second he sees someone, bang, 1 or 2 shots, and he's got him locked out. Even better, now that they dealt with the forward pressure that was out in the open from G-Men, they're able to go back to the AC roof and get the heal off onto their down member. So they're back up to a full 5, and they've got 2 down from G-Men right now. This is looking great for Globochem.
It is. It does look like Globochem's going to be shutting this one out. We're not sure, though, as we do see another frag take down Otto on the roof. Otto, I think it's time to find a new spot, buddy.
0 for 2,
they know where you're at, and those frags are on point from the G-Men. But a great play from the man. He does take down Otto and finally kind of balance things back out. But Pants is there on the roof, once again, getting another frag onto a member of the G-Men. He will take down Swooty. And now it's just a 2-member push. They are fairly split, so that's good. He's not going to be able to target and find both of them, you know, very quickly. But it's going to be very difficult for them to coordinate at this point because there is 5 members, and Brastamouth is getting ready to push out of the smoke right as Pants looks up. He finds yet another kill. I think that's, again, 4 for him in this round. And it's all up to the man.
He's got the chance for an ace this time, too, as he's probably going to run into him.
I don't know. If Arsenic gets greedy and goes running out.
He just threw his gun? Wait, whose gun is that?
That might have been the LMG he just picked up off of where Otto had died. Because I'm pretty sure Pants doesn't use LMGs at all.
He was using that. Because the PKM's an LMG, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Because he got his last
he does have it.
Yeah.
No, he still has the PKM.
So the man's going to try to sneak up on him. It actually looks like Pants started to fall back a little bit from the roof. Might actually just be coming around the sand in here to try to push the man quickly.
No, they've adjusted.
There he
You
is.
can see their full defense is adjusted to the east side because they haven't heard or seen
He's
anything.
yelling at him, too.
Yeah, Pants probably talks non-stop. Like, I was able to fill in for them for a scrim a couple of weeks ago, and just Pants on the radio is just constant chatter. And some of it is intel, and some of it is just stuff like that.
Well, Arsenic, hello? You want to look to your right there, man?
Ding dong.
Oh my god, how did he... I guess the Dune's a little aggressive there as it cuts up. Either way, he's going to actually make it up on top. He manages to take out the man, but the man also trades him. So another 1-for-1 exchange is how this series will shut itself down as we do see Globochem